request Mr. Sunil Arora as well as the Farhod Arziev, Uzbekistan Ambassador to India, to our valedictory function for the 17th Diploma Course for Development Journalism. आप तमाम लोगों का स्वागत है। आज 70वें डेवलपमेंट जर्नलिज्म के समापन समारोह में all the other guests, we now begin our program, and we begin our program with lighting of lamp and सरस्वती वंदना। हम रोशनी प्रज्वलित करके और सरस्वती वंदना के साथ अपने कार्यक्रम की शुरुआत करते हैं। We are formally beginning the 17th Diploma Course valedictory function, and as you know, I will be also placing the report. There are 16 countries, 24 participants in the 70th course of development journalism. I would request Director General Mr. G Suresh to come give the welcome and introductory remark.
Most respected Election Commissioner of India, who has been now designated the Chief Election Commissioner of India, Hon'ble Sunil Arora ji, His Excellency, the Ambassador of Uzbekistan to India, Ambassador Farhod Arziev, Additional Director General Shri Manish Desai, my esteemed faculty members, officers from the Ministry, from the Election Commission who are present here, honorable members of the Diplomatic Corps who are present here, the development journalism scholars who are going to get their certificates today, students, guests, friends from the media. A very hearty welcome to the valedictory session of the 70th Diploma Course in Development Journalism. It's indeed a great day for us that Arora Sahab has come here. Arora Sahab has a long association with this institute. Not many of you, particularly the younger generation, would not be aware that he was the chairman of IIMC just a few years back. As Information and Broadcasting Secretary, Information and Broadcasting, and as chairman IIMC, he has immensely contributed to the growth of this organization. In fact, some of the institutional mechanisms, including offices of Dean Students Welfare, offices of Dean Academics, the Career Advancement Scheme. These were all approved during his tenure as the chairman of the Indian Institute of Mass Communication. In fact, I was fortunate to have been appointed as Director General during his tenure as the chairman of IIMC. And so I say that, Arora Sahab has been lucky for me, but this time around, we have been lucky for each other. You see, on the eve of his coming to IIMC, he is designated as the Chief Election Commissioner of India. Sir, a hearty congratulations to you. And on the eve of his coming to IIMC, we get the letter of intent for becoming a deemed to be university under Dean of Academy. Ambassador Farhod Arziev, a great friend of India and a greater friend of IIMC. You would be delighted to know that, like most of you, he is also a product of IIMC. He is a product of the same development journalism program whose valedictory we are having today. And as I have always maintained, we have trained over 1,600 communicators from developing countries, from 128 developing countries. And today they are holding key positions, critical positions in their respective countries. When I travel abroad, I meet them occupying very high positions. In fact, me and Professor Hemant Joshi, we were together in Sri Lanka, and there the Director General of Government Communication at that point of time was a product of IIMC. And we are so proud that somebody from IIMC is back in India as the ambassador of his country to India. Even otherwise, they are all unofficial of ambassadors of India to their respective countries. And you will not be surprised, some years down the lane, some of your friends from the DJ course with whom you played, with whom you had food, with whom you roamed around in the campus, they will be holding critical positions, important positions in their respective countries, and you will be really proud that you had studied together in the same campus. And that is the greatness of IIMC, that it gives you an exposure to an international audience, and also to officers, to journalism students, to practitioners of advertising and public relations. So that is the kind of exposure that you get at IIMC. Friends, without taking much of your time, I would just like to say that development journalism is still critical and important to the global south. And I think the world over. Because at a time when there is an apparent obsession with politics, we feel that in developing countries, our priorities need to be set right. Developmental priorities have to be given, importance in our media, in our respective media. And I think that that is what all this critical training is all about. Many of you come from countries which are free democracies, and some of you come from countries which have some regulations in place. In such a scenario, how to carry forward development journalism in your respective countries? How those issues which are critical to the masses have to be brought to the notice of the rulers and also to educate the masses about their rights. This is the focus of the development journalism course. And we have got feedback from our students who are now working across the world that this course has tremendously helped them in not just widening their horizons, but also in understanding techniques, methods, in taking mass communication to the grassroots level, which is very important for a developing country. Sir, we can assure you, and we have always been, Dhirendra Ojaji is here, the Director General of the Election Commission of India. We have been closely working with the Election Commission. The Election Commission, not just in terms of the electronic voting machines, but also in terms of its cooperative interventions in many countries, has been able to give a lot of its lot of experience with developing countries, and it's playing a big role so far as new media is concerned. In fact, Election Commission has a tie-up with Facebook, and I am sure, sir, I just want to, because you are part of this IIMC extended Parivar, Election Commission, I would like to remind, and they have of course always been approaching us, but in February, sir, we have a placement session coming up, and I am sure Election Commission will find many soldiers to take their message of democracy across the world and across the country, and you will find very trained manpower at IIMC. And I am sure, being the ex-chairman of IIMC, you will take full advantage of our expertise. Ambassador, we are really honored to have you here as a guest of honor, and he has been, and what I must say is that after presenting his credentials to the Honorable President of India, after coming to India, I think that among the first places he came was his alma mater. He came and met me, and from that day he has been after me for a memorandum of understanding between the Journalism Institute of the Uzbek World University of Languages. And I am happy to inform you, Ambassador, that at the recent Executive Council meeting, this MOU has been approved. And soon we will be having very strong collaborations with the Uzbekistan counterpart. And we look forward to the signing ceremony and exchange of faculty and students in the coming days. I'm sure we are all keen to listen to our esteemed guests and give away the certificates to our esteemed scholars. So I wish you once again, all the scholars, a great future. I'm sure that you will keep the IIMC flag flying when you are back home, and you will keep in touch with us through all our social media handles, and also you will remain India's best friends in your respective countries. We have celebrated Diwali together, Dasera together, Raksha Bandhan together, and that Raksha Bandhan will keep us together for a long time to come. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Mr. Suresh, before I place my brief report on this batch of development journalism, let me also welcome our esteemed guests from Egyptian Embassy, Embassy of Nigeria, Mongolia and Uganda, other than of course our guest of honor from Uzbekistan. So very welcome, sir. You all are always supportive, and we all keep inviting you for our functions. So let me place you a brief report about this course. As you know, this course is actively supported by Ministry of External Affairs, and I would like to thank Ministry of External Affairs and their representative here for their continued support to this program. And we conduct this course twice in a year, once from January to April, and then from August to November, December. So, as the number says, 17th diploma course. So, from 1 to 69 and from 69 to 70, and we are very hopeful to have 71 and beyond. So, in itself, the continuity, the consistency says about the success of this program. So, this program, sir, have 16 countries from Africa, Asia, Latin America, and the former Soviet Union, and there are 24 participants. The countries that include in this program are Afghanistan, Burundi, Congo, Egypt, Ghana, Mongolia, Nepal, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Sri Lanka, South Sudan, Tajikistan, Tunisia, Uganda, Zimbabwe. So you can see the diversity. Congratulations again to the 70th batch for the successful completion of your program. Now, after this brief report, sir, I would like to invite 2-3 participants here to share their experiences with you as well as with the audience. To begin with, I would like to invite Nariman Muhammad Saleh from Egypt to come and speak here for 2 minutes.
Really lucky to join the 17th batch, not only for the academic level and promoting my journalistic skill. I know a lot about the theory of developing journalists in my country, with a high command of new media and technological media that can compete with the smartphone and the technology that is going faster all over the world. I also know all about the characteristic of journalists, that it should have a lot of ethics, non-negotiable ethics that cannot be moved by time or by authority. The journalist also should be loyal to the citizen. And I also know a lot about how to be professional, how to be professor. Thanks to all my professors, they're not only having the academic level, high academic level, but also they have the charisma, how to deliver the information without being so boring. I couldn't sleep in the lecture, actually. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much. Let me stand on already existing protocol to say, shall we give ourselves a resounding round of applause today? I have just 2 minutes and I'll deliver with them then. Development journalism is that mustard seed that was planted many years back. It has grown in leaps and bounds. It has produced results. It is very explicit that one of us is right on the dais here. That is where the program has reached. For us as a class, we see 3 paradigms in this program. The first paradigm was when this program was 1 score and 10, 30th batch, 2 score and 10, 50th batch, and 3 score and 10, the 70th batch. And we are that 70th batch. We are a special class because we are the icing on the cake. The next paradigm of this program will be when the program is 4 score and 10, that is the 90th batch, by which time it would have transmuted from the Indian Institute of Mass Communication to the University of Communication in India. Shall we give a round of applause for that? We came as individuals within the period this program lasted, we developed a bond. We are now friends, we are now a family, we are now brothers, sisters, some of us are fathers to some of our participants. Beyond this, beyond the academic bond, we had social bonds, we had cross-cultural bonds, and indeed sports, yoga specifically. When some of us came, for me particularly, I hit 120 kg, but I've cut down. And if you look at a lot of us, because of yoga, even if some of us did not follow it to the end, it added value to us, and we appeal to the school to ensure that yoga is sustained in every course of DJ in IIMC.
Country, India, for everything that it gave for me and for us. Since my first visit in 2013, I fall in love with this country, and every time I dream about it, and I dream to come back. And now I think that I will visit it more and more times. I hope so. Then I want to say thanks to the Ministry of External Affairs and IIMC for opportunity to study a DJ course and to become a part of big family. And special thanks to our big father, Mr. G Suresh, for everything he does for IIMC. I'm so grateful for all help from our department staff. Mamita Panda, she was a mommy for all of us. Mr. Anil, he was always friendly with us. He was always ready to help us in any questions. Madame Farindra, who was always friendly with us, and every day they came to the department. She was always, hello, you're welcome. And finally, the last but not least, Mr. Rajesh. He was patient with us in our travels, and he was always ready to solve any of our problems there. And Mukul Sharma, he was always on our side in any questions. Then we have a different difficult situation, he was always on our side. Thank you for all your patience, attention, and kind attitude to us. I wish to all of our professors to have more students like our group. And thanks to all of your knowledges, what you shared with us, and all of our lectures, I hope so will be useful in our job, in our future life, and personally in my job too. I want to give thanks to our hostel staff, also for very good hospitality. And finally, I want to give thanks to my group. Now all of you take part in my heart, and since that day, our names are written in our fates, and I wish to all of us all the best in the future, and I hope we meet each other again, and all of you always welcome in Siberia. Thank you.
Honor ADG, DG to please release the new issue of Eco. Mr. Farhod Arziev. So I would like to invite him to speak. His Excellency Farhod Arziev is the Ambassador Extraordinary of the Republic of Uzbekistan to India. As a career diplomat, he has also served at the UN in New York and Geneva offices. So, Honorable Guest of Honor, you are requested to come and speak to us.
Thank you very much. Dear, good afternoon, dear friends, dear Honorable Election Commissioner of India, dear Dr. Suresh, Director General of IIMC, dear Manish Desai, ambassadors, members of Diplomatic Corps, dear professors, dear students, ladies and gentlemen. It is always with great pleasure and always with great emotion to be here. As Dr. Suresh mentioned that after I presented my credentials to Honorable President of India, IIMC was the first place I visited in my official capacity as ambassador. IIMC takes a special place in my career and also in my heart, I can say. I have been here as a student in 1996. I have spent very good moments and precious moments of my life as a student here, from the students from different countries of the world. They are now in different positions, some of them in journalism and some of them in other areas. But I would like to say that for me personally, IIMC has been the source of knowledge and the source of inspiration and the source of success, for which I always feel grateful to IIMC. And I also would like to commend that under the leadership of Dr. Suresh, the IIMC and its activities have become even more dynamic. And as it was mentioned by Dr. Suresh, that we are very happy that we will be soon signing a memorandum of understanding between IIMC and last year when we started it was a department, but just recently it has been transformed to Independent University of Mass Communications of Uzbekistan, and we will be signing a memorandum of cooperation with IIMC, which is the leading the institution in journalism. And also I would like to announce that we have in principle agreed with IIMC to conduct international alumni summit of IIMC next year in Tashkent, to which all of you are invited. The graduates of this course, I wish best of luck in your career, in your personal life, and I'm pretty much sure that the IIMC experience that you had it here and that you will be carrying with yourself will always bring you good luck and prosperity and success. Thank you very much.
I am privileged to now invite our chief guest, Sri Sunil Arora ji.
Shri G Suresh ji, DG IIMC. His Excellency Farhod Arziev ji, from an ex-alumni of IIMC. Mr. Manish Desai, Additional DG. Professor Mukul Sharma, CD of this course. Excellencies from various countries. Scholars who are attending this course. All my colleagues from IIMC, we were a part of each other and we will remain a part of each other in one way or the other. And dear students, there was a word, this constitution which God has given to us. No, Benjamin Franklin was otherwise a religious person. But while making the corrections, he said, we give unto ourselves, we the people of America. Because he did not want to mix the two things. And those two things in a country of this diversity should never be mixed. I hope our young scholar has had a part of her answer. If there's something left, I'll try to answer her while going out. I have had the honor of being the secretary, as secretary, I'll be ex-officio chairman of this place for some time. And Suresh ji, you came after I left, not by design of course, But I can tell you that our maybe 7 or 8 interactions are in the form of governing council, or at least 2-3 interactions which we all had in the ministry with faculty or large parts of it, that enabled us to kind of forge, if nothing else, it was just 8 to 10 months, if nothing else, a kind of way forward for the institute. And I am very glad to note that you and your colleagues and your other, under your stewardship, are only kind of going ahead and ahead. So may God bless you all. I am using the word God here, but here I can use. As far as the media is concerned, which all of you are studying, Ojaji gave me a very detailed account of how it was started in UK, the contribution of Professor Samuel Johnson, and further on, it may have started as a kind of social gazette, but gradually it stopped being a social gazette and it became a purveyor of news. News educates, informs, even entertains, not necessarily in that order. It's all of it together. In fact, all the veterans of the freedom movement, name most of them, they were associated with journalism one way or the other. Gandhiji wrote prodigiously in his own journal, and there are most of the veterans, they kind of in their own way tried to educate the country, which was the prime need of that hour, education and awareness. It was around that time that we had what you called Old Lady of Boribandar, very, very respected newspapers, very respected editors, whether started from Bombay or Calcutta or Delhi. And then gradually you also started having, as the country was developing, advancing, financial media, print media. In late 70s, I remember when I used to teach in DAV Jalandhar, in Punjab, when we were going to the college, we saw this huge structure coming up, and we were told that this is the Doordarshan Tower. Doordarshan that time was government. But even there, you had those, that 1 hour in the evening when you had those, some defining serials. One may now be forgetting some names, but whether it is Tamas or so many serials, entertaining serials. And you had about half an hour slot of news. People were questioning they had started questioning or maybe even getting at times bored by that news. Because you had a lot of news outside. Even the agencies like PTI and all that, which had been established by that time, had started giving a lot of news. And then you had an explosion, almost a tectonic explosion, when you have hundreds of papers. In my own state, Rajasthan, which is my Carter state, although I belong to Punjab, but I always consider Rajasthan as my home, although I don't have a home there. I mean home in the sense of building. But you have, in every divisional headquarters, there are 8 to 10 papers. In some districts, there are 6 to 7 papers. Whether that development is for good or bad or whatever, it's not for us to judge in that sense. And you also had some of these very well-informed financial papers. And you had some very, papers with a content which at times bordered on prurience, coming from Bombay, for example, for many years, run by very eminent people. And then he also got into the era of magazines. And from very staid and respectable illustrated weekly of the old days, then you came to a different kind of illustrated weekly, and its circulation boomed. To be very fair to the heaven gone Sardarji, he really made it a magazine worth reading in every which way. See? And some of us may have some intellectual condescension towards it, but the fact was that you had a very delectable mixture of entertainment, information, and a kind of bit of half-page of prurience. And on the TV side, you have even bigger proliferation. From the cable channels to the major channels, there are thousands of them now in the country. And at least hundreds of them are known, dozens of them are watched. So Doordarshan has a tough competition. But what are the issues now, at least in those? I'll come to social media after this. Issues is that today, hardly any newspaper actually makes money. And hardly any TV channel, which is not a group owned, makes money from news. Although we have all resorted to or getting used to seeing and then at times switching it off, this TRP-led news items, news bulletins, and this weekly TRP ads or monthly ads or 6 monthly ads. But I think at one level, besides and not seeing that how, for, I can't say ke aisa karo, but it's for you, so, because you are IIMC, etc. Then karke this social media. And social media, 3 days back, 3 or 4 days, Ribeiro, who DG Punjab, he has written an article, I think it was Indian Express most probably, and that was essentially, it was on the kind of unrest going on in Punjab again, some kind of subterranean movement, except that it got exemplified by this incident of Amritsar, when 3 or 5 people, they lost their lives after the grenades were were thrown there and while they were doing their prayer, etc. As a matter of fact, while he was DG Punjab, he and his wife, they barely escaped with their lives in Jalandhar because those guys were slightly higher and these guys laid down just on the ground, and the partition wall was very high, so the walls missing. After that, once he was made ambassador, even there was one attack on him in Romania when he was ambassador. So this is the kind of credentials of, he says, the emergence of social media has facilitated the spread of ideas that drive fringe elements into thoughtful actions. Pakistan intelligence will ever be willing to provide the logistical support, etc. But his comment on social media, again, these are not the things which can be resolved or can be given solutions like instant coffee. But these are the issues where the faculty of the IIMC would probably like to focus more and more in the coming times. Also in the latest issue of India Today, which is basically which is on the performance of various states, there is again 2 pages article on the write-up on the issues in Punjab. And there again, they have kind of talked of social media more than once. This is the, on print media, after years and years, we were able to do some self-regulation and a very weak kind of regulatory framework. My own view is that self-regulation is always better. You don't need to have a Sarkari regulatory mechanism which is bound to be misused by somebody or the other, maybe at the higher levels, maybe at the lowest levels, maybe at both the levels. And we have seen this happening once in a while, and it's never something which should not happen at all. So this is and then TV, you have a NBSA and all that. I've also dealt with them. By and large, we all get together once in a while. I mean, they have their own meetings, then they meet you also because you are secretary. We all have a nice cup of tea, we do polite talk, we achieve nothing. Almost nothing. And this is despite the fact that you have some exceptionally gifted people there. Exceptionally gifted. So, it always happens, anything in the world, if it starts going towards anarchical, much before that, if there are self-regulatory mechanisms evolved by them, it would be better, because otherwise all the solutions which kind of emerge out of a disgust with the anarchical proclivities would always be harsher. Otherwise, my dear students, journalism by definition is anti-establishment. And I mean, it's not an Oxford University definition. Basically, it has to be anti-establishment, because in the sense that you have to constantly keep questions, keep raising questions, raise issues, and raise issues at the same time while raising issues, give a lot of, do a bit of research on that, and try to take the version of somebody else if you are going into the era of some kind of a personal attack or a personal, what do you call, going into the era of some vicious aspects, attacking somebody's persona or personality. Some of the, recently, in Times of India, about 5-6 months back, I read a write-up by some, then I saw the name, one Pankhudi Yadav, if I'm not mistaken. Now this was about some lady who was working as a housemaid, living in one of the far-off places in Delhi, as most of the people who can't afford good housing are. And in a crossfire between 2 gangs, she was shot and she died. The husband was, he's a cripple, on the bed. And 2 kids who were staying with her father. You can imagine what kind of family. And when I saw it, so first of all I asked my officers to get the name of this journalist. Now, just see the approach of journalism. It could have been done in one sentence, that one woman crossing the road was killed in crossfire. Finished. maximum you can give the name. But by giving it a 2-column human interest story, then I spoke to my office to put me online with that. And I spoke to her. And then we spoke to Chief Secretary, who has just been shifted, Anshu Prakash. And I'm not trying to do any self-glory out of this. Trying to kind of, in about 1 month's time, arrange a full package for the family. The real issue is the heroine of this, if I may use the word heroine, of this article is Pankriya, of this tragedy. It's okay, what can she do if somebody is passing the road and gets killed in the crossfire? What can the correspondent do? But by putting such thrust in that write-up, then I was told gradually that some other people have also kind of tried to contact Chief Secretary's office and something has been done. I can't say that it will really ameliorate their lot too much, but at the same time it's better to have something than have nothing. That is another way journalism can be done. You have people like Sainath at one time who used to write about famine and created such, because this course is about development journalism, created such awareness in this country about the drought, famine and all those things, that a lot of administrative things and policies got initiated. My dear students, you are very powerful. And when I say you are very powerful, I'm not just saying because I've come to give a speech before you. Your profession is very powerful. And sometimes many of your colleagues in various theatres of war or various places where there's a lot of unrest, they bravely meet very tragic ends also. The recent incident in the Turkish consulate being a case in point. But at the same time, you are writing. Writing, it's not for nothing that somebody said pen is mightier than sword. You may say it's a hackneyed old sentence. It's not an old sentence. It's a very, very relevant sentence. It's as relevant today as it was when it was written. Your writings can move. They can move the system. They can move the somnolent bureaucracy. They can cut through, rather ram through the red tape. They can do almost anything. I'm sure many of you, maybe now these days they are not heroes at all. If you just go through the biographies or autobiographies written by some of the most celebrated editors of this country, that time, print media, you will find in every word so much distilled wisdom. Wisdom of life. Even if you think that it is not immediately relevant to your syllabi, if you can read one of these every month, you will find that the way you look at journalism would be changed. But it's not easy. It's not easy. As they say, as the poet says, Sahil ke tamashai, हर डूबने वाले पर अफसोस तो करते हैं, इमदाद नहीं करते. So therefore, I will close by asking you to say that it's okay, you have heard this, but भंवर से लड़ो, तुम लहरों से गुजरो, कहाँ तक चलोगे किनारे किनारे.
once said, "Gratitude is the inward feeling of kindness received. Thankfulness is the natural impulse to express that feeling. And proposing vote of thanks is following that impulse." So I stand before you to follow my impulse. It has been such a wonderful evening here, the valedictory function of the 70th Development Journalism course. And we have such esteemed guests, chief guest, the Chief Election Commissioner Designate, Shri Sunil Arora ji, and the guest of honor, Hon'ble Ambassador of Uzbekistan to India, H E Farhod Arziev. Your presence has taken this evening to another high. I thank you on behalf of Indian Institute of Mass Communication for taking your valuable time to be with us this evening. We all know what contribution Shri Sunil Arora has done to us, especially the Indian Institute of Mass Communication, during his tenure as the Secretary of the Information and Broadcasting Ministry, as well as the ex-officio chairperson of the IIMC Executive Council, as well as then the President of the IIMC Society. A lot of issues which were pending for some time were given a push and a finality was received during his tenure. And he continues to keep that kind of a good feeling for the Ministry of Information Broadcasting as well as the IIMC, which can be seen caged from in his acceptance letter for this, to be the chief guest of this evening. He just mentioned that coming to IIMC will be like a kind of a homecoming for me. Thank you very much, sir. We are honored by your presence. Ambassador Arziev has been a kind of a brand ambassador in absentia for all of us. So with your permission, may I say that DG G Suresh keeps quoting that the Uzbekistan ambassador to India is an alumnus of the Indian Institute of Mass Communication. His presence, it's also a kind of a role model for all the 24 graduating scholars today, because I'm sure in your own country, you will all progress, reach higher positions, and of course, we look forward for that day when you would also be the guest of honor and the chief guest at a valedictory function of a development journalism course sometime in future. It is said that development journalism is mass media's contribution to social change and development. I hope, you all had a good time this evening, and for all the development journalism scholars, I wish you a very safe passage home. Have a great time and shine well in your country. Thank you very much.